Welcome to the After Hours Chat. Here we are, and we're exploring different words. I love words and where they come from. And there's many words in different languages that mean things that can't be easily translated into English. And one of those words is from the Japanese language, Shinrin Yoku. And Shinrin Yoku is the form of forest bathing. So it's when you go into the forest and you immerse yourself in all of the lights and the sound of the sun coming through the trees, when you see the leaves and you take in the air and you just immerse yourself, a total immersion experience for forest bathing. So the question tonight is, have you forest bathed? Is it something that you do? And what is your experience with nature and how are you connected to it? Who would like to start?
I actually experienced that. When I saw your question, it took me back when I did the El Camino de Santiago. And as you know, we walked for 2 weeks. When I came at the end of my journey, I came a totally different person. I was not aware of it until a friend of mine saw my photo and she says, Kida, what you been doing? You look so stunning, so different. I said, I've been walking. I released a lot of negative energies, a lot of grief. I was grieving for my mother. And I came back out of this journey with sore feet, but very, very light. It was such an unbelievable experience.
Has anyone else experienced forest bathing?
Well, I actually did that today. Sorry.
Okay. How about you, Sheila, then Teresa?
I actually did that today, and my idea of what forest bathing is when some people go out into the forest or on a trail, they get on there and they're walking with purpose, and just want to get through it as done as quickly as possible. But for me, my friend and I, we went out into the forest today, and it's just, we took in everything. We were looking at every tree. We're looking at every little bit of moss that's hanging down. We ended up coming across this little squirrel that just sat there and stared at us for the longest of times, and just took it all in and sat by the lake for a while and just listened. And I think it is, for me, it's kind of healing. Because it just allows my whole nervous system to just kind of relax. And yeah, I would highly recommend everyone just do it. Like, just go and use all of your senses.
Yeah, and I love that this term has been found and discovered, the forest bathing, because I think many of us were doing that before we kind of identified it as something that had a name to it. But I went through a season where I was struggling with just a lot of change and a lot of sorrow. And this was many years ago before forest bathing was talked about. But I remember walking through the forest and trying to find a way through this season that I had found myself in. And the wind just started picking up and all of the leaves were just fluttering, and it was autumn and the leaves were dry and they were all kind of tapping each other. And it just sounded like this forest applause floating through the trees. And something about that, just honestly, it was like magical. It just lifted my spirit. And I just thought, there's reasons in life to applaud. Like, I kind of applied it to life, and the forest really spoke to me that day. So I believe in forest bathing. I think it's beautiful. I love that there's a term we can use to describe it.
I really like that you can put a term to it now. I think it's something that I do anytime that I hike alone. It, like Sheila said, you kind of immerse yourself in just the forest. And when you're alone, you have a chance to kind of think and feel the forest around you. And it's something that I do every time that I like to go hiking alone. But I've never really put a term to it. So thank you, Doris. Now I have a word for it.
So I also have had the experience of forest bathing. I have a friend named Haida that has trained in California to be a forest bather guide, I guess, for lack of a better term. So it was a couple years ago. I was in empty nesting and my kids had just left, and I was sort of in the area, and I couldn't get my zhuzh or spark back, and Haida had invited me to go forest bathing many times, and I decided to ask for that for Mother's Day. So after taking my shoes off and grounding in the forest and really getting electrically connected back to the magic of earth and really having experience in the forest, which was truly an amazing experience. And then Haida gave me reflexology on my feet in a lounge chair in the forest. It was simply amazing. So
Cool.
I got to play with the, creating a fairy scene in the forest, playing in the water, really coming childhood, because I think children do that so easily. We walk into the forest and we know what to do. Whereas what Sheila was saying, like as adults, we're like, get it done, get it done, get it done. And forest bathing is more of a whole body somatic experience with touching, tasting, smelling, putting moss in my mouth. I was like, I don't know about this, but listened about it. And there was something that electrically changed in my physiology after that experience, and my light turned back on. So I definitely recommend it.
Wow.
Amazing.
Sounds like fun.
I need to get hooked up with that.
Kimmy, what
Not
about
sure
you?
about the
Have you-
moss in the mouth.
Yeah.
Have you experienced this, Kimmy?
Well, yeah, being Japanese, I feel like I should really have a strong connection with this, and I have an understanding because knowing the Japanese culture, they have a very, very strong bond to nature. And so, and then the forest, of course, is just an abundance of nature all around. And in Japanese culture, every living thing has a spirit. And so you're surrounded by spirits, and that's where you'd be gaining your energy and your life and all of that from. There is a movie that is done. It's an animated movie by the Ghibli series, which some of you are familiar with. I think it's a Japanese animation series. It's called Princess Mononoke. And if you haven't seen it, I would really recommend it, because it's not about the Shinrin-yoku, but it's about the forest and the spirits in the forest. And you can really get a sense of where they're coming from with that whole concept. Personally, I'm not a forest person. I'm a water bather, not as in the water. I need to be near the water. When I need to recharge and all of that, I go near water, whether it's a lake or the ocean. That's my nature thing. But I really understand the Japanese culture of the forest bathing.
I'm like Kimmy, where the water for me is really important. Like I love going to English Bay, and you kind of have best of both worlds. You have the beach on one side and you have the forest on the other side, because there's so many trees around there. And it's my favorite place to go walking and kind of get immersed in the water and the forest. It's just gorgeous. So I guess I kind of partake in a hybrid of forest bathing.
How about you, Margot?
Super perfect.
I love walking. I love nature. I like to and it takes me back when you guys were talking about forest. The thing I think of is going to the end of our street on Neville Street in Burnaby, where my dad used to take me down to a ravine. We used to have this big, huge ravine. I don't even know whether they exist anymore as much, but and we'd climb down and we'd go for this long walk down the ravine, and then we'd even take sandwiches, and we'd sit and have sandwiches, and ever since then I have a love for hiking, a love for being. I'm just a little nervous about coyotes, but besides that, I mean that's my sort of my first. It just brings back really good memories. Very warm, comfortable, safe feeling memories. So I guess I'm a forest baby too.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a lot of people, maybe we didn't know what the term was called, but it's sounding like there's many of us that have done this and just have sort of basked in the forest, really, at the end of the day, whether, forest or water, near nature, all of these kinds of things, they all have there's all
I think that Val, you haven't added to that.
What about you, Val? Are you with us?
I'm not sure if you can hear me because
And why don't you go
Yeah.
next?
Yeah.
can you can? Okay. I just lost connection.
Oh,
So I'm like,
here we
where did
go.
I go?
That's okay.
Um,
No, I have
I
I just turned off my camera because I think it's me. But is Val speaking now or Yasmin?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, go ahead, Val.
Wow. I love the forest. I don't know if I fully forest bathe, but I love doing the Bunsen Loop. Like I've done it like every day this week. I love my walks. I can go on my doorstep and I'm out there in the forest. Sometimes I walk, sometimes I'll hike, sometimes I'll run and just listen to the crunch under my feet and be free. And a little bit of what Kimia said, that in our culture too is it's similar, where there's so many souls and life in different things, and so yeah, the forest is full of that, and the energy is just beautiful. Yeah, that's just me every day. I love it. I could do it all day long.
Yeah, me too.
Although the forest bathing term did kind of, I did wonder, like, do people actually forest bathe, like forest bathe? Like, you know, is that a thing? Like, do they go in naked there and like stand there in the forest and walk around, or like, what is it, right?
Anything can happen if you let it. I think Mary Poppins said that.
We just be in nature.
Yeah.
Free.
Walk bare
Mary.
feet, hug a
Hey,
tree.
Yasmin, we
Yeah.
haven't heard from you. Yasmin.
Oh, geez. Last time I actually went into the forest was, God, when I was living at my parents' house. We had this nice little area that we would walk up from our house to the park, and we'd cut through the basketball courts. And there's like I guess probably about 20 to 30 steps to go up behind the houses. So when I had my dog before he was killed by one of those coyotes, we'd always walk up there. It was a nice forest. It was like a really nice narrow trail, very sensual as well. So it's like you have that trail to yourself. So it's like a trail that no one really knows about unless you live in that area. And we'd walk all the way up probably to like Glen Air area, and then we walk down another set of stairs, and then that would end up by our mailbox and just back in our complex area. And it was a really nice view, nice, like relaxing. It was cool and not too hot or anything. So I used to do that quite a lot with my dog, but ever since my dog was killed, and it's just like I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Barbara?
Love walking. I really like the name. That is very exciting. I do net walking 4 times a week, and Judith and I do that together.
Oh, wow.
My Paladin walking, and walk by the Coquitlam River, and it is so nice to just walk through. It's every day. It's almost like you see something new, and you notice something different about it. And the other day we actually stopped and sat on the rocks and listened to the river going by, and it's just the breeze. It's just absolutely wonderful. I love being by the water. It calms me. It makes me feel, I don't know, alive and energized and just really, really good. So then there's the other one in Port Moody that we do, the walk there to the Rocky Point. So in the forest a lot, and it's a really good way to unwind and really feel good. I really like it. Yeah.
Nice.
Recommend it to everybody.
Well, I mean, forest bathing is a retreat to nature. I'm reading that.
Uh-oh, Kathy, I think we're losing you. Come back to us.
Kathy's awesome.
It's awesome. Maybe I could wrap it up though, but if anyone else hasn't had a chance to speak.
Has Becca spoken?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if everybody
another time hike, or you feel like walking, just take a moment, take it all in, do that, go ahead. I think we need to take time, and as they say,
absolutely.
Back.
We
Sorry about
You're
that.
back.
There
You
we
must-
go.
I was forest bathing. I was forest bathing for that.
You were
Exactly,
fully
just-
immersed.
Right in the forest.
That's why next time he can do that. Okay, good. That's good. All right. Thanks so much. Don't forget to follow us, share our YouTube links, and give us a question. You know, we always want questions from our fans. Thanks so much, everyone. We appreciate you watching.
Bye.
Thank you.
So-
Thank you for watching our
Thank
after hours
you.
chat.
Okay, so just try to close one more time there. Just Kathy, we couldn't hear you. So Doris or someone who would like to close,
Okay.
I'll just edit to the end. So say something and then close. So I think can Becca say something? Who wants to say one last word and then Doris can close? Who
Yeah, I
wants to
think
close?
forest bathing. You want me to just say something?
Yeah. So hang on a sec. Give me 3, 2,
Sure.
1. Say something, Becca, in 2, 1.
I think if forest bathing sounds like something that's so restorative, and nature is such a part of all of us that it's amazing to be able to give it a term and to learn about these new words.
I find it wonderful to experience those new words and also to travel when we have to remain in our restrictions at the moment. So we can travel through words and through each other's experiences and through different cultures, just even by sharing with each other. Thank you so much, everyone. And join us for the chat after hours again. And be sure to subscribe and check out the YouTube channel because we have many videos to share of all different subjects. Thank you and bye.
Bye.